It really does get better. I left my WS in mid-2020 after finding out he had an emotional affair. I was completely blindsided, convinced I knew my husband, convinced we would spend our lives together, convinced he would never betray me. I tried to salvage things for a couple months, but he became insufferably jealous and paranoid, go figure, before I decided I needed space to think about the inevitable probability of divorce. I left, feeling utterly guilty that I was leaving someone who had deep abandonment issues. I felt guilty that I was uprooting my animals. I felt immeasurable guilt that I was taking my mom's son-in-law away, my sister's brother-in-law, my niece's uncle. I was scared, financially speaking. I made 10% of what he made, and I knew I would barely be able to survive on my own. I hated telling people. I hated crying when I felt like I couldn't cry anymore, and it came anyway. I hated my doubt and fear and resentment. I hated my crappy apartment and nervously checking my bank account. I hated the extra commute time to work because I had to quickly find a very cheap, available apartment in the middle of a pandemic. I hated my husband for putting me in this position. Then, during a post-work trip to the grocery store, I bought a plant on a whim. I put it in the sunny kitchen of my apartment. Bright green with prehistoric tendrils that dance a little in a breeze. I felt like it stood in for the happy smile I couldn't quite wear yet. My cats were no longer reclusive because my husband wasn't screaming about someone who had wronged him, spooking them under the bed while I would lay on the floor, stretching my arm underneath to pet them and tell them it was okay. I could sit on my couch in silence and read for hours. I no longer came home to dishes in the sink and a husband in a gaming chair. I no longer had to look at holes he punched in the wall. I didn't panic when platonic male friends sent me a text. My family adjusted, albeit awkwardly. My plant grew bigger. I bought another. Sometimes I smiled back at them. I was struggling but able to pay my rent. I paid my bills. I asked to work more hours. I made what I wanted for dinner. No one was asking me to make them a snack at midnight after a day of me working, cleaning and cooking. I carried my groceries up the stairs. I changed my oil. I learned how to fix some things on my own. I started listening to some great podcasts on my new, longer commute. I no longer cried as often. Then I stopped crying altogether. I sometimes hummed in my kitchen. I met someone by chance and we went on our first date in early February. He was in the same spot as me and we wanted to take things slow. As slow as we could manage anyway. He is caring, kind, considerate. He buys my cats their favorite treats. He leaves me with his phone face up. He tells me the truth but understands my reservations. We both love Halloween and cooking. Has the better cook and the better baker. He gives me room to heal and process things. I do the same for him. We talk about our past and tentatively of our futures. We don't want to jinx anything. I don't feel hatred anymore. My plant is doing really well. It gives me some grace when I overwater it and am thankful for that. My cats are laying in the sun of my quiet, crappy apartment. A man that treats me well is in my life, and he has effortlessly made his way into my heart. For the first time in a long time, I am crying as I write this. But they are happy tears. It really does get better. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, I really needed to read this. Thank you for sharing. I'm just starting out on my own again. I really appreciate reading your story. It gives me hope. Stay strong. Redditor 2, thank you for posting this. It's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Although I feel lonely and still sad, I can't help but think with some more time, I will be thriving and better off without him and all the darkness he brought to my otherwise calm and beautiful life. Redditor 3, you are a beautiful writer. I didn't want this to end, but I love where it did. So happy that you're happy. Good for you. Redditor 4, thanks for writing this. It made me smile because it's so true. You're at peace and I'm so happy for you. Redditor 5, this is amazing to read. Thank you for sharing. There might be hope for us broken souls after all.